A group of women 65 to 75 ages were interviewed. These interviews were the most poignant, probably because many of these women had never had a vagina interviewed before. One woman who was 72 had never even seen her vagina. She washed herself and showered and bathed, but never with conscious intention. She had never had an orgasm. At 72, she went into therapy, as they do in New York. And with the help of her therapist, she went home one afternoon by herself, lit some candles, took a bath, played some music, and she got down with herself. She said it took her over an hour because she had arthritis. But she said when she found her clitoris, she cried. This monologue is for her.
Down there? I haven't been down there since 1953. No, it had nothing to do with Eisenhower. No. It's a cellar down there. It's very damp, clammy. You don't want to go down there. Trust me. You'd get sick. Suffocating, very nauseating. The smell of the clamminess and the mildew and everything, whew, smelled unbearable. It's new clothes. No, there's no accident down there. It didn't blow up or catch on fire or anything. It wasn't so dramatic. I mean, well, never mind. No, never mind. I can't talk to you about this. What's a smart girl like you going around talking to old ladies about their down there's for? We didn't do this kind of thing when I was a girl. What? Jesus. Okay. There was this boy, Andy Leftcove. He was cute. Well, I thought so. And tall, like me. And I really liked him. He asked me out for a date in his car. I can't tell you this. I can't do this. Talk about down there. You just know it's there, like the cellar. There's rumbles down there sometimes, and you can hear the pipes and things get caught there, little animals and things, and it gets wet, and sometimes people have to plug up the leaks. Otherwise, the door stays closed. You forget about it. I mean, it's part of the house, but you don't see it or think about it. It has to be there, though, because every house is a cellar, otherwise the bedroom would be in the basement. Andy Leftcove, right. Andy was very good looking. He was the catch. That's what we called him in my day. We were in his car, a new white Chevy Bel Air. I remember thinking that my legs were too long for the seat. I have long legs. They were smushed up against the dashboard. I was staring at my big kneecaps when he just kissed me in a surprisingly take me by control, like they do in the movies kind of way. And I got excited. So excited, and well, there was a flood down there. I couldn't control it. It was like this force of passion, this river of life just poured out of me, right through my panties, right into the car seat of his new white Chevy Bel Air. It wasn't pee, and it was smelly. Well, frankly, I didn't really smell anything, but Andy said it smelled like sour milk, and it was staining his car seat. I was a stinky, weird girl, he said. I wanted to explain that his kiss had caught me off guard, that it wasn't normally like this. I tried to wipe the flood up with my dress. It was a new yellow primrose dress, and it looked so ugly with the flood on it. Andy drove me home without saying another word, and when I got out and closed his car door, I closed the whole store, locked it, never opened for business again. I dated some after that. The idea of flooding made me too nervous. I never even got close again. I used to have dreams, crazy dreams. Oh, they're dopey. Why? Burt Reynolds. I don't know why. He never did much for me in life, but in my dreams, it was always Burt and I, Burt and I, Burt and I. It was always the same general dream. We'd be out, Burt and I. It was some restaurant like the kind you see in Atlantic City, all big with the chandeliers and stuff, and thousands of waiters for the vests. Burt would give me this orchid corsage. I'd pin it on my blazer. We'd laugh. We were always laughing, Burt and I. Laughing, we'd eat shrimp cocktail. Huge shrimp, fabulous shrimp. We'd laugh more. We were very happy together. Then, he'd look into my eyes and pull me to him in the middle of the restaurant. And just as he was about to kiss me, the whole restaurant would start to shake. Pigeons would fly out from under the table. I don't know what those pigeons were doing there. And the flood would come straight from down there. It would pour out of me. It would pour and pour. There would be fish inside it, and little boats, and the whole restaurant would fill with my blood. And Burt would be standing waist deep in it, looking horribly disappointed in me that I'd done it again, horrified as he watched his friends, Dean Martin and the like, swim past us in tuxedos and little gowns. I don't have those dreams anymore. Not since they took away just about everything connected with down there. Moved out the uterus, the tubes, the whole works. The doctor thought he was being funny. He said, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. But really, I found out it was cancer. Everything around it had to go. Who needs it anyway? Highly overrated. I've done other things. I love the dog shows. I sell antiques. You ask me what would it wear? What kind of question is that, what would it wear? It would wear a big sign, closed due to flooding. What would it say? I told you, it's not like that. It's not like the person who speaks. It stopped being a thing that talked a long time ago. It's a place you don't go. It's closed up, under the house. It's down there. You happy? You made me talk. You got it out of me. You got an old lady to talk about her down there. You feel better now? You know, actually, you're the first person I ever told about this, and I feel a little better.
My vagina is a shell, a round, pink, tender shell, opening and closing, closing and opening. My vagina is a flower, an eccentric tulip, the center acute and deep, the scent delicate, the petals gentle but sturdy. I did not always know this. I learned this from the Vagina Workshop. I learned this from the lady who runs the Vagina Workshop, a woman who believes in vaginas, who really sees vaginas, who helps other women see their own vaginas by looking at other women's vaginas. In the first session, the woman who runs the Vagina Workshop asked us to draw a picture of her own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas. That's what she called it, at least. She wanted us to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vaginas looked like to us. One woman, who was pregnant, drew a big, red, screaming mouth with coins just spilling out of it. There was a skinny woman who drew a serving platter with a sort of Devonshire pattern on it. Me, I drew a giant black dot with little squiggly lines coming out of it. The black dot was meant to represent the black hole in space that was my vagina, and the squiggly lines were meant to be people or things or just your basic atoms that get sucked up in there from time to time. I had always thought of my vagina as an anatomical vacuum, just randomly sucking up particles and from the surrounding environment. Do not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I do not, for example, see it as something attached to me. In the workshop, we were asked to look at our vagina with hand mirrors. Then, after a careful examination, we were to report back to the group what we had saw. I must tell you that up until this point, everything that I had heard about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never actually seen it. It never occurred to me to look at the thing. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane. It seemed so awkward, just laying on the blue mat, looking at it in the hand mirror. It reminded me of how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I felt it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Like the first time you cut open a raw fish, and you see the inside, this whole other bloody complex world, right underneath the skin. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. The thing that amazed me the most were the layers. Layers inside other layers. My vagina amazed me. Couldn't speak when it came to my turn. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman in the workshop had called vaginal wonder. I just wanted to lay there all day on my mat, my legs spread, with my little hand mirror, looking at my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon, ancient and full of grace. It had the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. And it was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. I could play hide and seek, open and close. Then, the woman who ran the workshop asked me how many women in the workshop had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I didn't raise my hand, but I had had orgasms. I didn't raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. It happened to me. They had happened in my dreams. I would wake up in splendor. They would happen in the water, in the tub, once in Cape Cod. They had happened on bicycles, and on horses, and sometimes at the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had orgasms, I had no clue how to make one happen. I thought it was a mystical, magical thing, and I didn't want to interfere. It felt wrong getting involved, contrived, manipulative, Hollywood. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem, of course, was that the surprise had been gone for 2 years. I hadn't had a magical accidental orgasm in a really long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was at the vagina workshop. And then the moment had arrived that I both dreaded and longed for. The woman who ran the vagina workshop asked us to take our hand mirrors again and see if we could locate our clitoris. We were there in a group of women, laying on our backs on our little blue mats with our hand mirrors, searching for our spots, our locus, and our reason. I didn't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment, or maybe it was knowing that I had to give up this fantasy, this life-consuming fantasy, that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that something was going to come lead my life, to choose direction, and to give me orgasms. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris. I rationalized it as mainstream, consumerist, because I was in fact terrified I did not have a clitoris. Terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapables, those frigid, dead, shut down, dry, alcohol-tasting, bitter... Oh my God. I lay there on my mirror looking for my spot, reaching with my fingers, and all I could think about was the time that I was 10 and I lost my gold ring in the bottom of the lake. How I kept diving over and over to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy stuff, but never my ring. Then I felt the panic. I knew I'd be punished. The woman who ran the workshop saw my insane scrambling and sweating and heavy breathing. She came over. I told her, it's gone, I lost my clitoris and I should have wanted swimming. The woman who ran the workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, she said. The essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back, my eyes closed, I put the mirror down there, and I watched myself floating above. I watched as I slowly began to approach myself and re-enter. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the surface of Earth. Bouncing and landing, and I came into my own muscles and blood and cells, and then I slid into my vagina. It was suddenly easy, and I fit. It was all warm and pulsing and ready and young and alive, and then, without looking, my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. There was this little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. Then the quivering began a quake, an eruption. The layers dividing and subdividing. Quake broke open into an ancient horizontal light and silence, which opened up into a plane of music and lights and colors and longing, and I felt connection, calling, connection, as I lay there thrashing about on my blue little mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip and a destiny, and I'm arriving as I'm beginning to leave. My vagina,